team that played today. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was a lovely experience, and it was embraced by the players of the 08. What happened was we went to the team hotel, and we were 8 of us around the table, divided into tables of 8, and each of us presented our opposite number with the jersey from all those years ago. They appreciated the gesture. We enjoyed their company. They are nervous, I will say that. Naturally, they're feeling the butterflies because this is a huge event. This is different.
It puts enormous pressure on them as well. I mean, the build-up to this, the whole atmosphere, the legend that is that 78 team, all put together. And these guys must be feeling enormous pressure going out to play the All Blacks this evening.
I think all the hype surrounding the game, and it has been massive, all that adds pressure. But what this is about for me, and I'll say it over and over again, it's about, like 30 years ago, it was about us producing a performance of buying into a rich legacy that was there, and that's what these guys have to do tonight, and that's what they're looking to do.
Well, we've been entertained royally for the last half hour or so. We've had just about everything you could hope for, and the crowd have been in for a long time. Among them, that man, arguably the most instantly recognisable of all the All Blacks, Jonah Lomu. He was turning on the Christmas lights in O'Connell Street, I understand, last night. So Munster, as you would expect, and Limerick, as you would expect, celebrating this terrific night of rugby. And the crowd, as I say, it's been a hot ticket to try and get in here, and the tickets have been not given away for any sort of money. So we stand and we sit and we wait and we watch what we hope will be a fantastic occasion. And we're going to start with the official business, and that'll take place in just a couple of moments' time. Already running a minute or so behind. Taoiseach Brian Cowan and the president of the IRFU, John Lyons, the chairman of the Thomond Park Stadium Committee, Pat Whelan, and the president of the Munster branch, Nicky Cummin, will come out, and here they are now to officially open Thomond Park in all its glory. And well might the Munster branch, the Irish Rugby Football Union, and most of all the supporters embrace this day, because it is a fine place, fitting now for the team that have achieved so much.
Absolutely, there's no better venue to play in front of, in my opinion, the best supporters, the best rugby supporters about, and how wonderful it is for them to have this stadium and this city to have the stadium it deserves at last.
Barrage of photographers, as you'd expect, more than normal. I was just looking at the list in the press room earlier on. Photographers here literally from all around the world, obviously from New Zealand, but those others from the Southern Hemisphere as well. Padraig Harrington on the right hand side of JP McManus, anybody who has any association with sport and of course the game of rugby union here tonight. And we've seen them all come in, and why wouldn't they want to be here on part of a very special night. Now the timing of this next bit will be interesting, because any moment now we're expecting to hear the rotating blades of a helicopter which will deliver the match ball. And is that it coming over the hill? It seems to be. Gone to great lengths to make this a memorable evening. Build up to 78, Tony, was there a sense, obviously nothing like this on this occasion, but was there a sense of occasion about it? Just give us a little bit of background what that week on the run-up was like.
Oh no, very much so. We did what was unusual. We had a 3-day preparation, because in those days the IRB didn't allow you more than 48 hours, but because it was a bank holiday, we came together on the Saturday and prepared right through to the Tuesday. We were in awe of the All Blacks, I have to be honest, and anyone who says today they saw it coming, they're lying through their teeth. But what an occasion.
Ball being delivered courtesy of the Air Corps, and what a spectacular sight. It is an absolute privilege to be here to see this. And out to come and accept the match ball, Donal Caniff. And that was something special, wasn't it?
That was spectacular by any standard. What a moment for Donal.
Seated in the east stand, I would now ask the team to please stand up. And ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation to these men whose achievements live long in our hearts and our history. Ladies and gentlemen, the heroes of 1978.
The heroes of 78 are acclaimed as Cowan Park rises, missing one man, of course, who's sitting beside me right now, and we're grateful for that. But you can see it, can't you, in the faces? There is a huge sense of pride. Wonderful moment. Messi Keane. Edge of Ginger McLaughlin. All the faces, all the memories. And now we await the teams, and you look at those teams, Tony, and you look at this Munster side and you wonder just how difficult in particular it's going to be for them to get their hands on the ball. Backline has got talent aplenty, we know that, but it's a real test for this Munster 8, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my read as well. I mean, the back line is, by any standard, impressive. The one player who really impresses me every time I see him is Paul Warwick. I just think he brings something different when he comes into the Munster side, different even to Ronan O'Gara. I like him playing a 10. It's a potentially a very dangerous Munster back line. Obviously, he's going to get quick ball from Peter Stringer if Munster win ball to provide that back line with, and that is the problem, particularly in the tight 5 back row as well. It's a big challenge.
And you look at the All Black side and you know the chances are so few to get an All Blacks cap, and for those that have caps in single digits and those that are making their debuts this evening, it is everything that they will give to this cause as Perry Wipu leads them from the changing room.
Yeah, this is the be-all and end-all to their tour. This is the big opportunity, and it's not seldom, as we know, in a tour like this anymore. Talking to Murray Mexted just before the game, Richard Kahui, the centre, he points out as a serious talent. We all know about Jason Eaton in the second row. He's oodles of football ability as well, and Stephen Donnell is reckoned to be a challenger to Daniel Carter in the making. So they're playing for big stakes tonight as well.
Perry Wipu, first time as captain on this, his 28th international appearance. The 25-year-old plays for Wellington, and the All Blacks receive a warm Coleman Park welcome. And now the cry for Munster. The honour is Mick O'Driscoll's to lead Munster on this night of momentous occasion and countless memories. I'll tell you what, if the game can live up even 50% to the billing that it's got, we're in for a wonderful game of rugby. We hoped for it between the All Blacks and Ireland last Saturday. In truth, we didn't get it. Tonight, let's hope for something a little bit more. Doug Howlett, there he is, 62 times cap for his country. Still the leading All Black try scorer.
Behind the East Terrace, please. Gary Ryan, this is a guard of message. Thank you. The Munster branch IRFU
would like to express their deepest sympathies to the family of Limerick man and Garryowen FC captain Shane Gagan, who died tragically just over a week ago. We will now observe a minute of silence in Shane's memory.
Very sad moment as Shane Dagan is remembered at Coleman Park. Now it's been suggested that we might be in for something very, very special and quite unique at this moment. And you look now at Howlett and Maffey and Tipoki and Jeremy Manning. 4 New Zealanders. Will their haka happen, or will it be the All Blacks first? And maybe, just maybe, well, they're stepping out. It is something unique. It is something special. Enjoy this moment. Wonderful.
Tell you, that doesn't send shivers down your spine. I don't know what does.
But as a piece of theatre, the last 30 minutes have been perfect.
You say if the match comes anything close to what we've witnessed so far, well, we're in for a treat.
Right, let's take final confirmation of the teams. First, the Munster team. Round about 10 frontliners missing. A huge evening for the 4 New Zealanders involved, as you've seen. Howlett, Tipoki and Maffey start. Jeremy Manning on the bench. Also a particularly daunting evening for those not normally in the front line. For Timmy Ryan at prop, Niall Ronan and James Collin in the back row. A wonderful opportunity. The experienced Mick O'Driscoll, as you've seen, captains the side from the second row. As for New Zealand, well, they start tonight with 13 of the 22 who beat Scotland a fortnight ago. There are some new faces in the shape of first caps for the number 7, Scott Waldrum of Taranaki, and prop number 3, Ben Franks. 2 more uncapped players await on the bench. Side captained, as you've seen, by scrum half Peri Wipu. And there's the match referee, Roman Pouillet of France, Christian Berdos, Cedric Merchat of France, the assistant referees or touch judges, and the TMO, Eric Gozis, also of France. As you'd expect, the field of Athenry will start us on our way as Paul Warwick and Munster get this game underway. And up to claim the ball is Jason Eaton, the second row. And Taranaki and Munster, well, the first test is going to be to compete in that pack for the opening 5 or 6 minutes to set down their stall. That one could go anywhere. It's knocked forward, says the referee, by Munster hand, and Rokothoko's allowed go, and away go New Zealand. Donald, kick ahead, now Munster back. Dowling did oh so well. And Munster find themselves deep inside their own territory. everything about this Munster team will be tested by the All Blacks. Stringer's kick blocked down. Advantage for a knock forward, I think, off a New Zealand hand is what the referee is signalling. And Mick O'Driscoll just checking that it's a pen or a scrum to Munster if they choose to take it. Barry Murphy slow to get back on his feet, and Warwick cleans the lines, but advantage over, and it hasn't found touch, and it's now with Corey Jane. Fullback is hit by Niall Ronan. Ball protected by Ben Franks, the new man with the bald head. Rokathoko, who played the only one that started against Ireland last Saturday, and Munster have dug themselves out of a hole. And it was a big hole there for about 10 seconds, but they recovered well. Dowling led by example, and Munster didn't give anything away.
Yeah, Tupoki took a chance here coming out of the line, but it worked. He got away with it there, coming up for the tackle, almost falling off it. That's tremendous work by Mick O'Driscoll. That's a fantastic kick as well, taking play up, but dangerously and ominously early on. Rokathoko putting Stephen Donald through a cap much too easily for Munster's liking.
Well, you'll see it. Warwick took it quickly when there was no New Zealand defender back there. He spotted the gap. Referee said he could do it, and he pinged it into the corner. And Frankie Sheehan and Munster have this line out about 10, 11 metres away from the All Blacks line. A foothold in New Zealand territory. Took Ireland a long time to be able to do that, and Stringer feeds Warwick, and it's Tupoki in midfield. Stringer, quick ball. Mick O'Driscoll through the gap. They're on their feet all around the stadium, looking for something special quickly, but there's a knock on. But signs there that Munster have a little bit of self-belief about them. Is there any other way with Munster?
Crucially, good early possession from the line out, enabling Stringer from the ruck to put O'Driscoll through the gap over the gain line. Unfortunately, losing possession in the tackle and giving New Zealand the put in. Encouraging.
Big test now for Tim Ryan, Frank Sheehan, and Federico Pucciarello up against Flynn at hooker, Franks and McIntosh, the props. Franks, as I've told you, winning his first cap. McIntosh just his second from Southland, former under-21 captain.
Touch, pause, engage.
Terry Wipu with the feed for New Zealand. Munster shoved off it, and Liam Messam comes away with it. The New Zealand number 8, Wipu, has a look to see what's on offer and takes the responsibility himself. That one's going to find touch outside the All Blacks 22.
Still a half-decent attacking position for Munster with the throw to come just outside the 22, outside the All Black 22. Wipu under a little bit of pressure there.
Scored a try against Scotland just over a fortnight ago, Terry Wipu, as the All Blacks won that match 32 points to 6, of course. Played Australia the week before in Hong Kong. They won that 19-14. Sheehan for Mick O'Driscoll, who gets one of those big hands at it and bangs it back. Niall Ronan was alert, and Stringer has time to find Frankie Sheehan, who was hit by Jason Eaton, but not before. Sheehan gets over the gain line and sets the ball up for Stringer once more. Warwick and Rafini Maffey, and Warwick once more. This is good work from Munster out wide. Tackles, though, come in from the All Blacks. A little bit of afters between Rua Tupoki and quite not sure which one of the All Blacks, but Munster have the ball midfield. Got to be careful not to give away a penalty by going off their feet. Dowling seems to see it, calling in one or two of the pack. Pucciarello makes his way across Tim Ryan as well. It's there for Niall Ronan and Frankie Sheehan. Stringer, Warwick, little kick over the top for Howlett to chase after, but it was watched all the way by Corey Jane. Good mark, and he tries to release the ball quickly down that line. Very little in the way of Munster defence, but opening 5.5 minutes, and Munster have done reasonably well, Tony.
Yeah. Confidence boosting, Munster exerting early pressure. Kick a little bit misplaced from Warwick, allowing Corey Jane underneath, and the quick clearance taking play inside the Munster half. But yeah, encouraging early minutes for Munster.
I want two line, 6 red. Don't cross before the throw. Don't cross.
6 red, James Colin. That's a little bit scrappy. Where's it going? Well, Warwick did really well to hold on because that ball was bouncing away from him as he came onto it at pace, and he set it up for Stringer and O'Driscoll calling on his shoulder. Munster get up ahead of steam, and Scott Waldron, the new man, is sent packing. Referee penalty to Munster. All Blacks not rolling away, and there's a little bit of confidence creeping into this Munster side if there was any doubt in the first place. They don't tend to doubt themselves in this particular part of the world.
Over the top, and this undoubtedly an opportunity for Warwick, but good cohesive driving. Munster there in numbers, all 5, good low body position, and getting the penalty they deserve. What a kick for Warwick.
Come on!
27 years of age, Paul Warwick, understudy of course to Ronan O'Gara. Hush around Thomond Park. Giving that a good thump, a great thump. It's over. First blood Munster. 8 minutes on the board. They lead it by 3 points to 0.
And what that'll do for confidence individually and collectively, and it'll get the crowd on board as well. Not that they're not involved anyway. What a kick too. Every last inch, and over it went. 3-0 Munster. And you've got to say, deserved.
Yeah, apart from that opening minute and a half where Rockethoko punched a big hole and sent Stephen Donald through, Munster have spent considerable amount of time in the All Blacks half, and they have 3 points to show for it. That one not controlled, and away comes Waldron and Weepu, and now it's with Donald. Through goes Adam Thompson, blindside flanker, advantage being played to the All Blacks. Donald comes onto it, none coming, and immediately an opportunity for the New Zealanders to draw level. In from the side is the decision of the referee.
Side entry from the number 8.
Side entry from Dennis Leamy. Leamy, of course, on his way back from injury. Just couldn't get himself back in time to contest for the Irish side, but what a terrific way to test himself coming back in this game. Stephen Donald, 10th cap, 31 points prior to this evening. That one looks good, it is. You just can't cough up soft penalties against this side. They will punish you just about every time. 10 minutes gone, Munster 3, New Zealand 3.
Yeah, there is that danger of being over-eager all the way across the line there. I felt the Munster back line had encroached. They were that little bit offside. They want to put in the tackles. They want to get in All Black faces, but it's got to be controlled. Soft penalty, 3-0.
Fine.
Warwick's high hanging restart. Munster compete and do more than that. They win the ball, and Niall Ronan happy to take it, knocked on by an All Black hand. Munster with the advantage. Stringer has a little look to see if there's anything on. Advantage over as the ball goes to Dennis Leamy. Rua Tupoki. That was really difficult for Maffei to deal with, and he did knock it forward as he attempted to collect it, and the referee had already said advantage was over for Munster. So it'll be a put into the scrum for the All Blacks.
In fairness to Maffei, a difficult ball to take, was right down at his ankles.
Are you the captain?
Couldn't hold it. Too big a gap between the centres.
Time off.
Between Tupoki and Maffei.
Take that advantage quicker.
He was over. You play the ball, you have the ball.
If I tell you I want the advantage, can I get the penalty?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was a scrummage just for the knock-on.
Okay.
Mick O'Driscoll just checking with the referee as to how long he might or might not let advantage run, and what the procedure is to take that advantage if he wishes to do so.
Scrum black ball.
49 tries for Doug Howlett in an all-black jersey. Rokathoko on 43 chases down that record. It's a strong scrum from New Zealand as Weepu finds Donald, and Ronan's done well again. Very aware of what was on. Turns over possession. Femi Maffei runs into the tackle of Jamie McIntosh, and the All Blacks there to compete. Frankie Sheehan looked like he came in from the side, but the referee happy to let it go, and the All Blacks will try and go down this tight side as Rokathoko kicks the ball ahead. Stringer is trying to disrupt, and he did just enough initially, but still the All Blacks come. But the knock-on was there, and also there was a foot in touch, and what looked like an opportunity for New Zealand is just about snuffed out by Peter Stringer.
Just as well he was there, minimal space, but maximum ground gain by Rokathoko again up the right. And New Zealand arriving in numbers at the breakdown, allowing Rokathoko the opportunity.
51st cap for Joe Rokathoko tonight. Played alongside his cousin Sivivatu in the national side at the weekend. Ronan once more. Warwick gets the kick away. Will it find touch? Yes, it will, and it bounces away from Rokathoko, so he won't be able to take it quickly, and Munster back inside the All Blacks half.
He kicks so naturally with either foot, left or right. That time, left foot up the left touchline, taking it into New Zealand half. And equally adept, left or right.
There's Corey Flynn winning his 6th cap. Canterbury, captain 2003 and 2004, and then had a 4-year break before he was brought back into this touring squad. Weepu, lovely pass to Donald, got it away really quickly. The crowd scream for a forward pass to Adam Thompson, but the referee doesn't want to know about it. And here come the All Blacks again, and doesn't Donald look dangerous? Yes, he is, but a pass doesn't go to hand. He had any one of 3 to pick from, and he made a hames of it after doing the really difficult stuff well.
Yeah, that's the point. He did do the difficult stuff first, making the break, but then he went for the long speculative pass unnecessarily. Next black jersey to him would have done it. That's a superb break by Donald. In fairness to Howlett, he did get back in between.
Yeah, Howlett cut off the supply, but still Donald should have done better. Frankie Sheehan comes away from the side of that ruck.
No hands!
Peter Stringer, he'll be itching to make a point. Will Stringer? Tackles come up quickly and smother Jose Aguirre, who you do not want to let get up ahead of steam. He has blinding pace. Warwick calls for and catches and spins away from Rokathoko. It's been an impressive opening quarter of an hour from the Munster out half. Dowling, who took a little bit of a knock early on. That one didn't quite find its spot, and it's with Stephen Donald again. Femi Maffei waits under this one, as does Stringer. Maffei eventually the one to take it. Here's Doug Howlett. How he'd love to shine tonight. Stringer. Ball knocked forward.
Forward.
Donegal Ryan.
Black ball.
Hands on the thighs. Can't believe it. Not really under any huge pressure, just a bit of an unforced error And crucially, it hands position and possession over to New Zealand. They'll have the platform of a rock-solid scrum. And options both left and right.
Crucially in a very dangerous attacking area, but you're right about when Howlett got the ball there. You sense the crowd want him to do something, and he wants to do something. He is certainly capable of it.
Touch, balls again. Number one, pushing early. Number one.
Well, they have the advantage, but they need to use it wisely. A little bit of afters there as Dennis Leamy takes the ball on for Munster.
With the feet.
Stringer for Warwick. Pokey just about got his kick away. Back there once more is Corey Jane, but the ball just runs over the line, and it'll be a simple tap down and a 22 dropout for New Zealand.
22.
It'll take that. It takes the pressure off, brings play up to the All Black 22 at least.
2 or 3 little niggly moments so far. Just saw one a couple of moments ago off camera. Peter Stringer was getting himself involved with 1 or 2.
Number 2, please.
Donald goes straight down the middle of the park. Warwick had positioned himself well. Howlett offers himself and then decides he'll chase the kick. That's a terrific kick from Warwick, giving Howlett every chance. It's knocked back on the Munster side, and it's Munster. Was it Ronan or Ryan? Ronan, I think, who got there. Stringer, crossfield kick. Who's there? Munster are once more presented for the scrum half. Dennis Leamy puts the head down, barrels his way into the 22. Ball slow coming back, but it's there for Peter Stringer now. Maffey to Pokey. Warwick. This is great from Munster. Colin. Pokey. Dunica Ryan, head down, singles out to Eva. The centre did well. Penalty Munster. Tackler didn't roll away, and that was a gritty, impressive passage of play from the men in red.
Yeah, richly deserved, and huge varieties the Munster play, using the air in a tactically astute way, competing for possession when it comes down, and then spreading it wide, and crucially too, holding on to possession, forcing the error. And this now a real, as I say, another deserved opportunity for Munster to go
Let me
ahead.
lead the referee. Let me lead the referee. I don't need advice.
Mick O'Driscoll being waved away by the referee as he attempts to make a point. Little bit of attention for Dennis Leamy over on the far side while all that was going on. But we'll settle now as Warwick has his second attempt of the night to put Munster in the lead once more. Will it make it? It will, it will. 2 from 2. Gives Munster 6, New Zealand 3.
Was there ever any doubt? I mean, if ever you want to see a kick hit with conviction and on its way from the moment it left its boot, that was it. What another boost for Munster that is. Don't they love it?
And Donald restarts once more down the middle. Lafini Maffey knocked it backwards, so that's okay. And Mick O'Driscoll was there to secure possession. Warwick did well to get himself out of what looked like a difficult situation and continues to do so. And there's an offload that they wouldn't have been expecting, and Dowling has a little bit of room to work in, but it's quickly cut off as 3 All Black defenders, including Jason Eaton, get across to make the tackles. Rua Pokey took it up next. Stringer, a couple of steps before the pass to Frankie Sheehan. Stringer again looks to dig it out. Dennis Leamy offers himself. He skipped and it goes to Warwick, and now Maffey, and the pass eventually finds its way out to Barry Murphy, who did well. Little bit of indecision in that Munster backline just for a moment. Niall Ronan, what a game he's had so far.
Hands off!
Leamy secures. Dowling in the out half position. Now Donncha Ryan. Munster are throwing absolutely everything at this as Dougie Howlett comes at pace. Again, another Munster wave. The pass from Dowling goes through the legs of Ryan, and there's a little kick ahead. Was it from Peter Stringer? Murphy up. Ball needs to be secured for Munster. It is secured for Munster. On they come again. Warwick, drop it goal. Steadied himself. Is it there? Oh, Tony Ward. What about that?
Oh, that is an absolute beauty. And at the end of another wonderful Munster passage of play. And it was sparked by Warwick in the first place with his break. But look at that for composure. Right-hand side of the field, checking, going back. And again, I said it about his previous penalty about striking it sweetly. Look at that. What a beauty. And crucially, it's getting the crowd involved more and more.
Oh, they're eating and drinking it down here now. More concern though, and it seems like real concern on the far side for Dennis Leamy, who does not want to know about leaving. While they decide what to do with Leamy, let's hear what George Hook makes of it all after 21 minutes.
Well, it's incomprehensible, really, but what this is a real testament of is the new depth in Irish and particularly Munster rugby. That a Munster side can come out showing them 9 or 10 players and deliver in the first 20 minutes a superior performance. Quite astonishing. I don't think it's going to last, I have to say, but for me, I'm certainly going to enjoy it while it does.
Stand by score, Strand.
Thank you for that, George. The manner of that drop goal for all 15, it was completion of a terrific effort. Leamy continues to struggle and there's real concern. I don't think he's going to play any further part in this game, and that's a massive blow. There's a knock-on out there from Jose Aguirre, and they're the sort of things that Munster need to go in their favour for the entire 80 and whatever injury time we have, if they're going to stand any chance. Here's Warwick, and there's a pass, and there's offload from Howlett, but it's turned over by Munster. Everything now being played at 100 miles an hour, and New Zealand will want to stamp their authority and their class on this game really quickly as Filippo takes the ball into contact, and out it goes. That's a little bit messy. Now it's with Tueva. Tackles continue to come from Munster, eaten onto it, the next All Black player to carry. Ball out, said the referee, and away comes Tueva once more. Dowling with the final tackle. A Stringer held onto his ankles. Messam, and now wave after wave of All Black attack, and Donald is over under the posts. The ball turned over by Munster unnecessarily in an area that the All Blacks will always capitalise if you give them the opportunity.
Yeah, well, Munster in the first place having to, here we see this is the ruck leading up to the try, and it's quick ball, and to be honest there was a full New Zealand backline out there. Had Stephen Donald let it go on, but it was a mismatch, and then he went under the post. But all that coming, as you rightly say, from Munster taking the chance up the right side with confidence growing, I have to say. And once they turned over possession, New Zealand immediately on the front foot for the first time in this game, but finishing clinically.
Straightforward conversion, and New Zealand take a 1-point lead. It's Munster 9, New Zealand 10, and Munster, well, they'll be furious at themselves. Just tried to create something a little bit special over on that far wing. The offload from Doug Howlett as he attempted to find, I think it was Barry Murphy outside him, and ball didn't go to hand. New Zealand's back row there in numbers, and from one side to the other, although the passing wasn't convincing all the way across, they did enough. Tueva created the havoc, and Donald finished under the sticks. Weepu. Ian Dowling watches all the way. That kick probably a little bit further ahead of him than he would have liked, and Weepu catches it on the 22. Corey Jane bounces off one or two Munster tacklers, and away he goes. Stringer gets there, but on his shoulder is Waldrum. The All Blacks looking to capitalise now Tueva, back inside he comes. Munster pulled left and right.
Side entry.
In from the side come Munster. Penalty is with the All Blacks. Weepu takes it quickly and feeds Ben Franks. Munster not back the required distance. Advantage continues. Tuitavake wearing the number 13 shirt. Donald still advantage as Munster must make those tackles. There's an ominous feeling about this New Zealand attack. Messam just couldn't offload.
Side entry, number 2.
Side entry from Frank Sheehan. So the penalty restored. All Blacks have advantage. Donald tries to ghost his way around. Advantage is still there. But the referee finally says none accruing and will come all the way back for an All Blacks penalty. And the referee is going to have a word with Mick O'Driscoll. A couple of players came in from the side there. I'm sure that's what it's about.
Same infringement, side entry. Third, pay attention on new players about the discipline.
Okay.
Monsieur Poit just having a little word. And
side entry.
Post. The warning very clear. Weepu decides to go for the post.
Number 2.
In fairness, the Munster defence standing firm, but New Zealand upping the tempo, upping the ante and exerting pressure. And really, I think they'll be very pleased with the last 4 or 5 minutes. Since Warwick's drop goal, they really have begun to turn the screw, and all are coming from one simple turnover, as you say, on the far touchline. An opportunity to go another 3 ahead.
Penalty in a conversion from the boot so far of Stephen Donald. He hasn't caught that one.
22.
And Munster, well, they get away with it.
You know, there's respectful silence, but when somebody makes a botch of it, they certainly let you know as well. And that was a badly struck kick by Donald well to the right.
And Munster will feel like they got off the hook there, because there were at least 2 occasions in that attack where you felt the All Blacks just might get through. Warwick takes it quickly, the All Blacks not paying attention. Rare to see that. But then Munster maybe a pass too many. They did okay, though the ball wasn't knocked forward. It was the use of a foot to control it, and no knock on. Ronan continues to make huge yardage. Tupoki, Warwick, despite the attentions of Corey Flynn, gets the kick away. Up comes Barry Murphy, but it's well dealt with by Jose Aguirre. And now it's Corey Jane, and again the All Blacks come at pace and they come in numbers, and there's a last gasp tackle coming in as McIntosh looked like he was going to make the line. The All Blacks have numbers out wide. Pass if it goes to hand, which it doesn't, because in came Colin to make the tackle, but on goes Messam, the number 8. Munster looking to turn the ball over, and they have done so, and Mick O'Driscoll appears and just hacks it downfield. Chases after it, back goes Corey Jane. O'Driscoll, every sinew strained as he attempted to get to the fullback. Colin again, and the back row from Munster have done absolutely everything that's been asked of them so far. That's the substitute, Billy Holland, who's in for the injured Dennis Leamy. Stringer for O'Driscoll, and there's a big gap.
No hands!
Stringer. Little kick through. Like Rua Tupoki, it's bouncing awkwardly for Corey Jane, and the crowd screaming at the touch judge that it went out where he kicked it, and Peter Stringer trying to draw his attention to that as well. The throw in to Munster will be just outside the All Blacks 22, and there's another Munster man who's taken a heavy knock in midfield. They are really having to put their bodies on the line. Mick O'Driscoll, after the exertion.
Yeah, I must say, I like Stringer. My initial reaction there, I thought Jane might have been in touch before he kicked that a little bit further up in the 22. But Munster giving it a real go, bouncing back again after that try.
Water?
Well, it hasn't felt like that in terms of the possession. 38-62 in the All Blacks' favour.
We are waiting you, Captain.
Interesting maybe to see the territory and just how much time Munster have spent in the All Blacks half.
If those stats are right, they're still giving it a go with the limited possession, in fairness.
Unquestionably. Mick O'Driscoll, slow and ginger in his approach to this line out. Mark Melbourne is the substitute, second row. Be a huge loss to Munster if they were to lose Leamy and O'Driscoll. They're two most experienced guys in terms of current form in that pack. Sheehan. Line-out has been very good for Munster thus far. And Pucciarello claims, and there's some assistance there from Donegal Ryan. Ball there for Munster, but there's a knock forward from a red hand, says the referee. The crowd don't like it. And Munster will have to face an All Black scrum. Referee's right.
And that they'll be disappointed with, because again the line out was solid. The drive cohesive, ball won, under control, and unfortunately turned over.
It's a 1-point game after a half an hour. Were those that thought Munster would not be able to summon a performance like this? Weepu gets caught in possession as Holland and Stringer forced him back inside, and the rest of the Munster pack gobbled him up. Kick is going to just about get to Ian Dowling, who has time and sends the pass out to Doug Howlett. A little bit of space opens up in front of Howlett. Now Barry Murphy offers himself, and Murphy's got a great turn of pace, but he's well put to ground by Tuitavaka. Stringer from Howlett. Again, Munster looking to punch some holes close in. Straightening the line at every opportunity, and they've got some reward in terms of distance and yards gained in this first half by doing just that. Here's Warwick, who's orchestrated so well, but just as I say it, the pass isn't his best one, but it still goes to the arms of Colin Stringer, with Waldrum loitering offside, and Warwick's bounced off one, off two, and on he goes with a little help from his friends and puts the ball down for Stringer. And now Howlett. Spinning away was Barry Murphy. Stringer. Crowd convinced that there's an infringement every time a Munster man goes to ground in those rucks that the All Blacks aren't getting away. That was 4 times the referee had to say to Waldrum to get his hands off the ball. Something for Pucciarello to chase. Across comes Corey James. Saw it was the prop, knew he had that extra half second and allowed the ball over the line. 22 drop out for the All Blacks.
Well read the end by Jane, and deft little chip through. But it's hugely encouraging, this Munster performance. I mean, there's quality to it. They're not just giving it a go, giving it a lash. They're controlling the ball at the breakdown. Not so much going through many phases, putting them together, but they're controlling possession. Encouraging.
I think what is so important now is that with, 7.5 minutes to go to half-time, that they don't leak another try or so and put a distance in there. They go in contention at half-time, and that's where they are right now. Now, that didn't look knocked forward, I have to say. From where I'm sitting, it looked like there was a hand on it that knocked it backwards. Crowd incensed again, and the referee, not for turning, put in, will be to the All Blacks. Let's see if we can see it here.
Time off.
Is that knocked forward?
That looked harsh to me. Well, not from that angle there, but certainly when we're sitting up here in the stand, it appeared to go backwards. Either way, referee has made his decision. He's on the spot and to put into New Zealand.
Handling errors in the first half, 8 by Munster, 7 by New Zealand. I wonder what this group of All Blacks makes of all this right now.
Oh, thank you, George.
Sure, they
Thanks.
came believing that with
that's
the
fine.
quality they had on their side, and they knew they were playing something of a second string Munster side, that maybe this would be a straightforward training ground type exercise despite the emotion of the evening. Well, I think after 33 minutes and they know they're in something of a cauldron.
My call, please. Both. My call.
Keep me in, keep me in.
Listen. Crutch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Better scrum from Munster, and Stringer does enough to upset Liam Messam, winning his second cap, and Weepu gets caught, and away come Munster, and Niall Ronan's coming chasing after this. Donald is back for the All Blacks, and he does superbly well, but then makes an absolute mess of it. And where's it going now? And the referee, well, what's he doing? He's calling a scrum, 5-yard scrum to Munster, and that all came from pressure on the All Black scrum from the Munster 8, and from there this happened.
And that is the point, is pressure from the Munster 8 as a unit at the scrum, enabling Stringer to upset Weepu. And there you can see what happens when there is pressure. All sorts of mistakes are made. Niall Ronan again central to it, hacking the ball on.
There's a long way to go in this game, but the All Blacks maybe, just maybe, a little rattled. Calling on the charge. No Leamy there now. Munster just 2 meters short, maybe. Referee's going to go back and ask him to put in it again.
Right now they are rattled.
Give me 5 meters. Get back.
Another Munster man requiring attention.
Tu as le temps, Eric, parce que sur l'écran, on l'a pas, nous. D'accord. Ouais, mais je voulais être sûr qu'il est sur l'écran, lui, comme il était.
Very difficult to see who it is right now. Surrounded by All Blacks.
Well, talking to the lads today, the aim was to give the crowd something to bite into, and that they've done so far, with just a point in the difference. Attacking.
I think it's Niall Ronan with a clash of heads on Diddy Weepu.
Touch, pause, engage.
New Zealand have already been penalised for trying to get the shove on too quickly. That at the other end of the pitch. Corey Flynn, the hooker, just having a little word with the referee. Stringer poised. This place will erupt if Munster can pull a try out of the bag before half-time. New Zealand get the shove on, but still the opportunity is there. Stringer, little pass out. Oh, yes! Wonderful! It's Barry Murphy, and Munster have that try. And this place has gone absolutely wild.
And well worked it was too, and crucially they got the nudge on in the scrum. It enabled to break right, giving Peter Stringer a 2-1, putting Barry Murphy in the corner. And here Stringer reads it ever so well, drawing in the last man, and in goes Murphy for an easy try.
11 block.
Stringer hit hard as Murphy scores a try he will always remember. And there is concern down there. 3 of the Munster backroom staff down there surrounding a Munster player. I think it's Peter Stringer who shipped a massive hit as he offloaded the ball there. Yep, it is Peter. And they will take their time. But he looks okay. He's had some wonderful days in the red of Munster and the green of Ireland. And that one will have hurt. You'll see it here. Just on the offload. Bang.
Non, 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 il le lâche, c'est pas bien méchant. C'est pas bien méchant, je le vois sur l'écran, c'est pas bien méchant. OK.
Hosea Gear, the one to make the tackle.
I don't think there's anything unreasonable about the tackle. In fairness to Stringer, he read it very well, though, drew him in. It's going to take a lot to keep that man down, I'll tell you.
Every single patron of this stadium is on their feet to applaud Peter Stringer on his way back to the halfway line. And we'll settle again for Warwick. And
okay.
This
t'es sûr parce que
attempt.
moi j'ai plus que 3 minutes, tu m'as dit, Eric. Excuse-moi, merci. J'étais policier, j'avais du mal.
How's that one? They sucked it in and sucked it over, and Munster have a 6-point lead with 2.5 minutes left in this first half.
And every kick matters. But here, as I say, brilliantly read. He takes the punishment then, Stringer. But if we thought that New Zealand scored a psychologically critical try on Saturday at Croke Park, Munster have just done the same.
Providing
they can kick them out till half-time.
They can hold out till half-time, and it is a big ask because you know New Zealand will come, but there's a mistake from Donald. Now, it's on small things that you judge a match, but how often do you see the All Blacks make a mistake between 9 and 10 under little or no pressure? The answer, not very often. Follow it up with a knock-on, and maybe, just maybe, they're going to have one of those evenings.
I'm telling you, the noise out there is getting to them. They're human. They're under pressure.
There was the knock-on.
Stand up, we wait the ball. Stand up, stand up.
Liam Messam.
Crunch. Set. Touch. Pause, gauge.
Good solid scrum from Munster. Stringer has a little look to see what's there. I don't think he executed that kick as well as he would have liked to. Meant to angle it more towards the touchline. Warwick's going to let this one bounce in front of him. Has plenty of time with which to deal with it. Dowling from inside his 22. Haven't seen much of this man in the last 20 minutes or so. Rokothoko, kick ahead, which Warwick has watched all the way. Rokothoko coming, and Warwick had to get away the ball. I don't think there was anything in that from Rokothoko. The crowd not happy, but Warwick very slow to get back up again. He delayed the kick right till the last moment. Rokothoko is entitled to try and block it down. Warwick looks a little sore as Tueva comes away, and now Corey Flynn, the hooker. The tackle comes in from Maffey, but the referee says it's high, and the crowd will boo every decision that the referee makes. Warwick, I think, is okay.
I'm not too sure there was a lot wrong with Rokokoko's original tackle. There is with that one. That's out of order.
Absolutely, no question. And Lafini Maffey is probably lucky he didn't get a yellow card for that.
Agreed.
We're into injury time. Donald to Wipu. Up comes Lua Tapoki to cut off the supply to the All Blacks backline. Ben Franks shuffles it out to Donald. Corey Flynn. Munster wrap them up for the moment. Ball from Filippo, the second row, to Thompson. Munster continue to make the tackles. Peri Wipu has a little look to see where the ball is. They'll be anxious to get something before half-time, will New Zealand, but again, a little error. This time it comes from Tuitavaka, but he's back on his feet and he makes some ground, and he presents the ball once more for Donald to Rokathoko. He tries to stand up Warwick, and Dowling goes in like a terrier with the help of Holland to put him to ground. Corey Jane standing it out half. Here is Tuitavaka. Phase after phase again from the All Blacks, trying to wear Munster down. It's Messam, former Sevens captain, takes the ball on. Thompson in as well, trying to bang Frankie Sheehan's hand away to stop him pulling him over. Protecting the ball. It's there for Tariwipu, and the ball doesn't go to hand, and Munster come pouring through, but the All Blacks still have through Tueva under considerable pressure. Lefimi Mafi. And there's the ball for Munster. Wonderful work. Cool head from Donegal Ryan. For just a moment he looked like he was going to have a fly hack at it, but instead held onto the ball. Stringer kicks it into the pocket, into touch. No, it bounces back, and Corey Jane runs it in, and Munster finished the half on the front foot. What about that for 40 minutes of rugby? Wonderful stuff, and what is a wonderful theatre. It's half-time. We'll have analysis and the second half in a couple of minutes. Munster, would you believe it, lead it by 16 points to 10. About to get underway with Stephen Donald and the All Blacks, and you'll see Tony Buckley, the big frame of Tony Buckley, who was on the bench for Ireland at the weekend and came in, is out on the park now for Munster. All 6'5" and 21 odd stone of him, as Warwick sends one down for Corey Jane to handle, and it comes back, and there's a little bit of to-ing and froing as three Munster men looked at each other. One of them was Dougie Howlett, and I think he's knocked it on. The referee says yes, and it's a foothold in Munster territory with the platform of a scrum. First action of this second half. And if the last 5 minutes of the first half were important, I suppose equally so, and it is a cliche, the first score of this second half is enormous, Tony.
Yeah, and probably the last thing Munster needed was the break coming when it did. Coming out starting cold again. Of course, the first score is going to be absolutely vital. That was a difficult one for Howlett to take, to be fair, and this now gives New Zealand an ideal attacking position off the scrum.
Buckley into that front row, and New Zealand get a good shove on, and Wipu feeds Donald, and Tueva uses the dancing feet to find his way through the first one or two phases, but Buckley puts in a huge hit on Perry Wipu, who to his credit held onto the ball and bounced back up again and tried to get himself going forward. Ben Franks, what a baptism of fire for the prop, born in Australia by the way, and offside against Frankie Sheehan means it's advantage to New Zealand, and Wipu has a little look to see what advantage might be coming. All floats to Donald, and now it goes through the hands to Tuieva, and out there is Rokathoko. That pass looked like it might have been forward, but referee happy to let it go, and he's continuing to give New Zealand advantage. Now says advantage over, and Messam crashes into the 22. Another big tackle, this time from Mick O'Driscoll. Wipu has to dive at it, and back inside the All Blacks go to Joe Rokathoko, and it's taken on by Messam once more. He's had his hands on the ball a lot. Munster think they can turn this over. They have turned it over. There's another big psychological moment, but the kick doesn't find its way to touch, and the All Blacks have territory again after all the hard work. Munster pretty much just hand the ball straight back, and it's broken play, and Waldron goes straight through the middle. There was a big gaping hole there in the Munster defence. All Blacks quick to get there. Munster now have their defensive line set as another wave comes, and onto it comes McIntosh, but again the tackle comes in, and the ball is knocked forward, and Munster breathe an almighty sigh of relief.
Yeah, totally different attitude by New Zealand in the few early minutes, imposing enormous pressure on Munster all the way across the field, and that a vital tackle by Barry Murphy.
It was the head of Barry Murphy that released the ball from the grip of Jamie McIntosh, a man who's played for New Zealand from every level, from under 14
just to make
up.
sure he isn't aware. He is on the ground, he isn't aware.
More Munster surgery required this time for Rua Tupoki. What influence he's had on Munster since his arrival here a couple of seasons ago.
We can play.
He would be a very proud Maori were he to help Munster do what seems the impossible here tonight. There's a long, long way to go.
Sam, please. Reset. Crutch. Touch. Quick, please, Black. Crutch.
Billy Holland packs down on this side behind Tony Buckley, son, of course, of Jerry Holland, who was a Munster manager for so long. What a proud day for Jerry to see his son out there on such a major occasion. A little bit of afters. McIntosh dragged back on his own side. We just wait as I think it's Pucciarello. No, it's Sonica Ryan who's fixing the footwear. Nothing more than that. Everybody takes a big deep breath, and into the engine room again goes Ryan alongside O'Driscoll.
Touch, balls engaged.
Frankie Sheehan using all the experience of all those years in red and green to try and upset this All Black scrum.
Back. Crutch.
Just Eaton in the second row with double-digit caps for the All Blacks. Munster control that well.
No hands.
Stringer just having a look to see where Warwick is.
Behind the ball, number 1.
Munster trying to get players in the way. It's offloaded to Sheehan. Always
Not on the ball.
dangerous that close to your line, but Stringer and Sheehan seemed comfortable and in control, and it works out well as Stringer's kick relieves the pressure all the way up to the Munster 22, and for the moment the pressure relieves somewhat.
But they'll take it all the time, trying to create a platform to enable Stringer get it away to Warwick to put it down the line. He didn't at that time, so Stringer took on the responsibility himself. At least it takes play up to the 22.
Saw a lot of this on Saturday. The All Blacks cut their line out to just 6 defenders from Munster. It means there are a lot of New Zealand forwards in that midfield. One of them is Messam, and he is tackled well. A little bit of afters between Jason Eaton and one of the Munster players, Mick O'Driscoll. There's a penalty for the All Blacks while that's happening. The crowd not happy. O'Driscoll and Eaton continue at each other. Now they've been broken up by the touch judge on this side, and it's Rua Tipoki who's penalised for going off his feet, and it is a straightforward opportunity for New Zealand and Stephen Donald, you would think.
I do think the referee is right. And crucially, he came down on the other side, making it virtually impossible for New Zealand to win the ball back, making little effort to get out of the way.
Referee said 13 red. Might get a look at that again in a replay in a moment. Made a bit of a hash of his last effort. It's more straightforward. New Zealand close to within 3. It's their penalty that starts the scoring at the start of the second half. Munster 16, New Zealand 13.
Well, they worked hard for it. And there Tipoki, you see him grappling for the ball. In fairness, he's pulled off it, but crucially he's on the far side of the ruck, and it's impossible for New Zealand to get it away. That said, how does he get out of that position? The referee's judgment is making no attempt. Penalty.
Warwick's restart for Munster. High hanger, which New Zealand deal with well through Ross Filippo.
Stay back, push back.
Holland gets himself back on side, and Wipu finds Donald. This one for Rockethoko to chase after, as it isn't going to make touch, and Colin did really well, and again tries to wiggle away from the tackler, gets to the safety of the red jerseys. Again there are some afters. Eaton was surely offside, but referee happy to let it go. Frankie Sheehan runs into a wall of All Blacks, noticeably tackling with more ferocity in the opening 8 minutes, and it's yielded a penalty as Munster go off their feet.
Off feet number 4.
Off feet number 4, who's Donncha Ryan. And there's going to be an extra 10 metres in it for Frankie Sheehan not releasing the ball.
I, like you, thought that was harsh. I thought Eaton came in from the side. The referee was on the spot, as was the touch judge, but he allowed play develop, and this now is kickable.
There's Franks going in, ball protected. Crowd say no, players say no, and Donald, well, that was not convincing, never looked likely. About a second after it left his boot.
Oh no, he fluffed his lines badly there, never caught it at all. I have to say, in that case, I don't think it's any more than Munster deserve. I did not think that was a penalty in the first place.
Be quiet now.
Lua Tupoki being told if he's not the captain to keep his mouth shut, and he'd be advised to, because it seems that this referee is quite officious in the manner in which he's going about it, and if he doesn't, he'll be penalised. That's a high hanger from Warwick that isn't executed well, and the hands are on the head, and he knows that is a potentially fatal error, because it gives New Zealand a scrum right in front of the posts.
6 black.
On the 22, 6 black is being taken out of the game by Graham Hendry, which means Adam Thompson is gone, and he goes in his place, number 19, Kieran Reid, who came on as a substitute against Ireland at the weekend. This is 3rd cap.
Touch, balls engaged.
Weepu. Messam away from 1 or 2. Messam ominously close to the Munster line now. Reid protects. All Blacks have numbers if they can shift the ball, but they can't. In no small part down to a terrific wraparound tackle. I think it was Tupoki. Murphy's going to have to do the same on this side as Munster are stretched right across the field. Munster warned to stay on side and leave their hands off the ball. Tueva, Rockethoko, Reid. Ball is out, says the referee. Again, the All Blacks have numbers out wide as Waldrum looks to connect, but throws the pass, which Tupoki gobbles up for Munster, and the ball is there for Stringer, and back goes Rockethoko to cover the kick. Rockethoko then. Munster need to get there, breaks the first line of defence, but there's enough in the aggression to put him to ground, and Maffey scrambles the ball back on the Munster side. Howlett straightens the line. Now it's with Niall Ronan. Pass doesn't go to its intended target, but it's still there for Munster as Buckley comes on the charge. Ball there again for Munster. Howlett desperately isolated, and Stringer couldn't get there on time. Tupoki slow to get to his feet. Munster have turned the ball over, and the All Blacks have numbers. It's a very loose game at this moment in time. Stringer slow to get to his feet. Munster players all over the park, down on their knees. And the ball, if New Zealand could have just kept it in hand, they had Munster stretched and in some ways punch drunk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Munster players on the far side on the ground. Those that are standing now drop to their knees. There's nothing almost nothing left in the tanks.
Oh, it's breathtaking, nerve-tingling stuff. I mean, everyone out there is giving it their all. And this was a real chance for Munster. I mean, had Niall Ronan found Topoki alongside, there was a chance of creating 2-on-1. As it was, a poor pass.
Concern there for Topoki, as you can see from that replay, he broke down without any contact. Looked like his knee just buckled underneath him.
But Ronan's been a big performer for Munster so far, as has he in picture, Masson. Liam Masson, the New Zealand number 8. Excellent footwork, and crucially in the first half when the side was under pressure, he was the one taking the game to Munster.
Well, Jeremy Manning has had to come in, and that means it looks moving to out half with Warwick going to centre. Topoki, as he chased up there in pursuit of Niall Ronan, looking for the offload. The knee just buckled underneath him and he fell to the ground. And it means a reshuffle of the Munster back line. All the others back on their feet, and now there's some afters. And they're all at it. O'Driscoll and Eaton have been looking at each other all evening.
Number 1.
Buckley seemed to indicate fingers in the eye to the touch stud, and that's what prompted Evans' skirmish.
1-17, McIntosh for New Zealand. Buckley for Munster.
Keep your head and come down. After the whistle. Okay?
He's just walking backwards.
Scrum, same ball. Red.
We talked about the South African officials at the weekend who were in constant communication with each other. The French touch judge on this side, who was 3 meters away from it, was welded to the spot as that unfolded and helped not a whit. Munster have a free for a early push from the New Zealand scrum, and Munster have called a scrum.
Yeah,
it's an interesting call.
Yeah. 3 black. 3 black. Can you watch the fast side, please?
3 black.
Sorry. Can you watch the fast side?
Is coming out of the game for New Zealand. Ben Franks, last 53 minutes on his first cap, and in his place is John Afoa. Afoa winning his 12th cap. He's had his back problems, Afoa, in recent years, and a knee problem recently. Munster get a good shove on, and Colin flicks it back for Stringer, and Manning just about offloaded to Lafemi Maffey. Manning, one of the 4 who took part in that Munster-New Zealand haka at the start of the game. O'Driscoll, flat ball, but New Zealand were up very, very quickly. O'Driscoll, has he been turned? Looks like he might have been. Referee says Munster brought it back illegally, and it's offering up another kickable penalty to the All Blacks.
You was on the black side. You have to release.
Well, that brings you back. You got to question the decision to go for the scrum. Was that the ball to be put up the line to take the pressure off? Because really, 15 minutes in this half all spent deep in Munster territory. Munster defending. It was energy-sapping defending.
No. Wait. Je peux pas lui dire, il est trop loin.
Donald's then to tie this match up. He's done it again. He's done it again. That's 3. All eminently kickable at this particular level.
That's a particularly poor one in front of the post from well inside the 10-metre line. 35, not even 40 metres out. that should have been put away.
And that from the leading point scorer in the Super 14 in 2007. She can't believe it. Just before this one gets underway again, Brent Pope, quickly, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it just shows you how pressure's starting to tell. You're quite right. Donald usually 80-90% kicker. He's missing them because of the pressure to win.
Pressure to win. Well, I suppose it's always there for the All Blacks. Always, always. As Afoa goes on a run from Wipu. And the ball recycled well as Donald looks back inside, and Messam, who's been all over the place for the All Blacks in this game, continues to wander around looking for a hole. Wipu, who's been caught a couple of times in possession. Donald, who's caught by Stringer, who gets up from the tackle and finds the ball bouncing into his arms as McIntosh tries to rip it from him. Where's the ball now? Will it be a Munster scrum? Referee says no, and you wouldn't describe this man as a hometown whistleblower.
No, it was a difficult one that I thought I saw the ball on the All Black side, even though it was in Stringer's hands, but he was battling to get it back. Decision made, and this New Zealand scrum, you can hear the crowd reaction, what they think, but we may see it closer here. Yeah, you see, it's on the All Black side. That's where I saw it, and that's why I felt they were in control. Then they let Stringer come up with it, but I felt New Zealand had it in the first place.
Well, I hope the atmosphere is coming across to you at home. We've had special days in Thomond Park. Another one continues, and that was just a complete mess from the All Blacks. Wipu went in search of people that just weren't there, and no one has dived on the ball just yet, but there's a knock forward, and it'll be a scrum to Munster, and at last there's a foothold in All Blacks territory. But that all coming from complete lack of communication from one of the most, if not the most professional side in the world.
Yeah, and Stringer's exerting an awful lot of pressure on the scrum area on Wipu. But bad lack of communication there. Donald forcing the end to just paw the ball forward and concede the knock-on, giving Munster the scrum. Otherwise it would have been hacked on closer to the New Zealand line.
Free is to Munster, free kick to Munster. Colin, well, Munster will say that the All Blacks weren't back the required distance, and I think they'd be right. Ball slowed up, but it's now there for Peter Stringer. Now Manning. Warwick is to readjust to playing inside centre. Howlett. Murphy, the try scorer from the first half, into the All Blacks 22. Buckley arrives to secure possession. Manning again. In behind to Lafemi Maffey. Munster have men if Warwick can just get the ball out, but he's smothered by Rokathoko before he can get the pass away to Colin. And the ball goes to ground, but Munster don't seem too concerned as they have held on to possession. Now time for cool heads as Afoa pounds away to try and disrupt. They'll soak up the time. Ball was very flat from Peter Stringer, and just for a moment it looked like it might be intercepted. Frankie Sheehan back on his feet quickly.
To the gate. No, not to up.
And it's Sheehan who's called on again to make a charge, and this time it's knocked out of his grasp and knocked forward.
No hands.
And the advantage is to New Zealand. Wipu for Donald, and he can see, he was screaming for it, that there are men over this side. Kick downfield is by Tuitavaka. Dowling came across well, he was under pressure, got the kick away, and the safety of touch is found.
Yeah, just as well that bounced the way it did with Dowling covering across. You know, it's an amazing game. There are so many mistakes at either end with teams attacking, and literally the ball could bounce into the hands of anybody and take off on the other. It's that sort of end-to-end game.
Again, there are 2 or 3 Munster players down. Frankie Sheehan, one of them, but the referee is saying we'll play on. And far be it for me to suggest that Frankie isn't injured, but it will be just what his team required, a little bit of time to organise themselves defensively and suck in the oxygen, but we'll get on with it without him. He's back now. Donald and Tuitavaka, and Lafemi Maffey is a terrific tackle on Corey Jane. and have Munster managed to turn it over. The ball was out and Colin is right to go through. He was held back for just a minute, but the referee didn't see it, and the All Blacks still have. And Wipu looks to see where his line is. Now Donald sends it for Rokathoko. Again, the All Blacks have numbers out here, and Manning is forced to make the tackle. Didn't want to commit. Eventually he did knock the ball forward. Now the referee should play advantage here and bring the scrum back, and he will, and Munster will have the ball again.
They're using the defence particularly well. Occasionally a man is coming out of it, as Maffey did that time over the far side. I thought he'd hurt himself, but again, Donncha Ryan working so hard to get across, forcing the ball out of Gear's hand eventually.
There was the tackle. Lafemi Maffey.
Time on. 2 red.
Just eyed his man and ball. Superb tackle.
2 red, you are off.
2 red is off. Who's Frankie Sheehan, which means Dennis Fogarty will come in.
Yeah, replacement.
Big boots to fill for Dennis Fogarty, because Frankie Sheehan has had an outstanding 62 minutes for Munster.
And that's obviously what was asked by Tony McGahan, and by God, he's given it out there tonight, leading very much from the front. And it's been tough on him, because he's kind of at the stage in his career where others have moved ahead of him in the national setup. He's at best number 4, if even that. Well, that was a big performance by Sheehan tonight.
And he's still on the pitch. That's he, just walking across now, and the cramp, I think, is a problem. He's being a little unfair to him earlier. He obviously was struggling when I thought he might be just looking for a couple of minutes for his teammates. Frankie Sheehan, again the crowd rise.
This is when they need the support of their 16th man, and they're certainly getting it.
Changes coming as well for the All Blacks.
Can you ask the new captain, please, George, from Black?
Terry Wipu taken out of the game. The captain.
Time on. Scrum red ball.
Which means that Albert Mathewson will come in at scrum half to win his first cap, the 22-year-old from Wellington. And I think Jose Aguirre is gone as well, but we'll confirm that in just a moment. Kahui seems to be in the centre. He is, and I'm just looking around, see if I can see the number 14 shirt. Out on the wing now is Tui Tavaka. That's the other substitute from earlier.
Number 20, Albie Matheson, number 21, Richie Kahui, replace number 2, Corey Flynn, number 4, Ross Filipo, number 9.
Ball is now with Munster's back line, and that was forced a little bit by Lafemi Maffey, and they were lucky to get away with that for the moment at least, and referee is going to bring it back, and he's going to give the scrum to the All Blacks.
They were, because I thought this came off the back of one of the New Zealand players here rather than actually knock on. We'll see it again. Maybe it did, I'm not sure. I thought it was his back.
Second, now we play.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Indeed, he seems to have changed his decision, giving the foot in too.
No, still the New Zealanders. Matheson for Donald. Up quickly to make the tackle comes Barry Murphy, but Corey Jane did really well to get the ball away to Rokathoko, and he's looking to wreak more havoc. He did so in the first minute. Since then, Munster have managed to get to him before he's dug any huge holes in their defence.
No hands, red! That's fine.
Matheson trying to dig it out, and Munster compete, and the referee seemed to say it was okay, and it was okay, and Stringer comes up with a ball and bangs it head over the head of Rokathoko, and the bounce goes Munster's way, and it's greeted like a try.
That's a great kick by Stringer. He's made 1 or 2 mistakes tonight, but he's been so busy. I think he's had a powerful game as well for Munster. His work rate around the fringe of ruck and maul, and the pressure he's exerting, and that's a fabulous kick by the Munster scrum half.
All Blacks have made a change at hooker as well. Hikawera Elliott from Hawke's Bay, 22 years of age, comes in to win his first cap. Former schools captain. He's in for Corey Flynn. Henry for the most part, has brought in the less experienced members of his bench. Obviously happy that still the All Blacks have what it takes to turn this match back in their favour. They trail by 3 points with 15 minutes to go as Manning feeds Warwick. Dowling across from his wing. Maffey was outside him, did a good clear-up job. The All Blacks there again quickly. Stringer caught in possession. Referee says ball was out, and now there's a knock forward, and it's an All Blacks put into the scrum should they want it, but the advantage is now over. There's the referee. Again, Donegal Ryan puts his body on the line. That was a knock forward from the Munster hand. Again, the crowd don't like it. Mathewson. And the referee is going to call it back for the first knock on, and the crowd feel that the advantage had passed. And again, there are Munster men down, and I think this scrum is going to take a moment to set. So let's hear from Conor O'Shea.
Well, Ryle George said at half-time that it would defy logic if Munster managed to hold out, but this place, Thomond Park, has defied logic for hundreds of years. This place is incredible. To be here tonight has been special no matter what happens in this last 15. And the great thing is that Munster have given, even if the All Blacks do break away and score a try, it is only a one-score game, and if Munster can get a breakaway, then this All Black side have to start chasing. So it has been an incredible occasion. You can see the Munster guys taking rest, but that's actually playing the game. They're actually doing the right thing, taking a little bit of a breather. I know Frankie Sheehan was injured, but you can be sure some of these are actually they're searching for lungs as well as their legs, and it's just been immense. And let's hope it continues to defy logic, and we'll have another play in West End.
Yeah, you're right, 14 minutes to go, and we talk about magnificent occasions regularly, and there have been. You think of the 2 Heineken Cup wins, and you again talk about Ireland's days as well when you pick at the England game and other games, but this is truly special, Tony.
I think tonight the atmosphere in the new ground is coming of age, and the players have deserved it. They are what brings it about, but it's a very special place to be.
And there is still an enormous amount of work to do, and I have no doubt the All Blacks have every amount of ability to turn this around and win it from here. Much to do still for Munster. The job still only half done, but how well done thus far. Mathewson looks for the gap. He looks fiery around the edges, doesn't he? Prepared to commit back rows, and caught in possession is a foe, but he does well to offload to Donlan. That's a really deft chip, but what about that for bravery? Ian Dowling, I think, the one who put his head and his body in the line to win that ball back. It was Dowling, and there were boots flying. He didn't see them. He committed. New Zealand off their feet, penalty Munster.
But that is the point. That's what Conor's saying. Every Munster man is putting his body on the line tonight. Greatly enthused by the atmosphere in the ground. It makes you do special things. Put your body on the line. There's bravery personified by Dowling, taking that chip by Donald. And so many Munster men are going down injured, but they're giving it their all, and they really have tonight, every single one of them. Can they get the ultimate reward?
Jeremy Manning told to get on with it, and he does. Dowling, that hurt.
17, please, one step.
Howlett comes across to Barry Murphy to bark out the call, make sure he hears it.
No.
Fogarty with the put into the line out for Munster. Who has it? All Black surely on the wrong side there. One way or the other, it was knocked forward by an All Black hand, and Munster get the put into the scrum.
And it's a scrum deep in New Zealand territory.
Stand up. Crunch. Touch. Pause again.
11 minutes left on the clock as Peter Stringer finds Jeremy Manning. Lovely little run from Lafini Maffey, who seems still so fresh and so energetic. And he fights and he boxes and he weaves and he gets a couple of more yards. And O'Driscoll, who has been terrific as captain tonight and led by example. Warwick, little kick, goes his way when it could so easily have rebounded and been fly-hacked downfield. Munster and Stringer still have. Now it's with Fogarty, and that's the All Blacks 22, and Stringer continues to scream at his pack as if they haven't given enough already, and rightly he points them in the direction he wants them to go. Mick O'Driscoll back to where he needs to be. Ronan sets it up once more. Manning, drop it, goal! Off the side of the boot, never threatened the post. 22 drop out New Zealand.
Well, imagine if that had gone over. And again, Munster working so hard. But when you work so hard, you make your little bits of luck. And that's what happened there when Warwick managed to get the ball back into his hands. Unfortunately, sliced badly by Manning, well wide.
It's going to be another change for New Zealand. Ross Filippo is out of the game, and it's the try scorer from the weekend, Brad Thorne, the 33-year-old who comes in to win his 23rd cap. Former rugby league international. The oldest man by a considerable distance in the 22 for the All Blacks today. Where's this one going? Billy Holland. The ball is in Holland's hand, but the referee sees a knock on. And I think he's right. Called by his touch judge on the far side. It looked like Holland may just have juggled it forward before he had full control.
Merci, Chris.
Yeah, that too was my reaction, and the touch judge, to be fair, called it there. We see the touch by Billy Holland.
13 black.
But Graham Henry calling the heavy artillery on board. Brad Thorne now in action. Desperation stakes.
13 black now is coming out of the game, who is Tuitabake.
22.
And it's Mills Muliaina, 28-year-old, 68 caps now, 22 tries. Henry has played all his cards. They have 9 minutes to pull an ace from the pack. Donald, Toiva, Manning does well. Caught in possession is Mathewson. Pass doesn't go to hand. Now who's on it? Barry Murphy dives in to try and secure possession along with Lafemi Mafi, but it's there for Eton and New Zealand. It was Corey Jane and Donald who managed to snuffle the ball back from Barry Murphy and Mafi. Kahui, there was surely crossing in midfield. That's what the crowd and the players were suggesting. The referee doesn't want to know. Back inside the ball comes. Relentless pressure from New Zealand, relentless tackling from Munster. They have the advantage. I think they're going to need it slightly isolated now. And the referee agrees and he brings it back. But the tackling is what's causing the turnovers.
Yeah, and it's all pressure. I can't emphasize enough, the crowd are lifting the team. This is when they need them most of all. I mean, what an atmosphere here in this ground. It is absolutely electric. I hope it's coming across at home.
Pucciarello, Fogarty and Buckley packed down for one more effort in the scrum, and it's retreating, but Colin, well, he managed to deal with it, and then Ryan dived on it when it looked lost. Where's the ball now? All Blacks have turned it over. Pure pressure on that scrum, and they will get the put into the scrum despite the fact that the ball popped out on this side.
No, that last set piece was a big one. It really forced Munster back, and they're tiring naturally. But they'll give everything right to the end.
Is there anything left to give?
They'll find it.
Black ball, unplayable ball, and moving forward from the black. Crutch! Touch, pause, get!
Mathewson leaves it for the number 8. Messam, and he's done really well again. Almost up to the halfway line. Here's Brad Thorne. Again, tackle comes in. New Zealand look to mess them once more. Ball pops out, O'Driscoll tries to come through, but he says that he came in from the side. Mick O'Driscoll, that would seem a little harsh because it looked again like the ball was out, but O'Driscoll came in from the side. He can't believe it. That was a tight call.
He has been absolutely outstanding tonight, Mick O'Driscoll, and that is a tough call from this angle.
And the All Blacks have declined a kick at goal. It would have been a long, long way away, almost on the halfway line, and the punt to touch brings play about 4 or 5 metres outside the Munster 22. The noise level continues to rise. Elliott's throw put under pressure, but he goes to the experience of Thorne. And the maul for New Zealand inches forward towards the Munster 22. At the back is Waldrum with the scrum cap, ready to pounce when the opportunity is there. Ominous from the All Blacks. They march on. Buckley tries desperately to get in and mix it up. It's in the hands now of Messam.
No hands, Rag!
Donica Ryan
no hands!
Almost tempted to give away the penalty, but now New Zealand go to their back line, and up come Munster, and Manning makes the tackle, and Colin goes in to try and rob the ball. And the referee allows a free-to-all, and the All Blacks continue to hold on to possession deep inside the last 5 minutes. Now the opportunity as Rokothoko gets himself in space. It's Howlett who's there. Rokothoko! Stringer could do nothing, and the big man scores the try against the man whose record he chases.
It's a cruel game, but that was the first really meaningful New Zealand ball in this game where they made the ground. In the end, they created the overlap. And how are you going to stop Rokothoko from there? I thought Howlett might have closed him down a little bit quicker, Stringer in covering across. But how do you stop this man from there? I just felt Howlett might have gone forward and pressured him a little earlier. That could be it.
So hard on this Munster crowd and on this Munster team. So close, but all is not lost yet. They still have the opportunity. If they can find something, there'll be a little bit of time left for them to try and chase this back. A lot will ride on this conversion attempt. The difference between the gap being 2 and 4.
D'accord. Je rajoute 30, alors 3,35. D'accord, pardon, Eric. Tu me donnes le top, j'ai eu un problème de montage.
Still there's silence. And he's missed again. And now it's a 2-point game.
Well, that is important. That still leaves Munster in with a chance that they can get into New Zealand territory and force that penalty. And there's enough time left.
2.5 minutes to somehow find the 3 points that will reverse this try's lead for New Zealand. A penalty, a drop goal, anything will do. But is there anything left to create it? Back with Donald. Downfield as Dougie Howlett had plenty of time, chose to control it with the boot. Dowling, little chip and chase, saw there was a bit of a gap there. Which way is this going to bounce? Into the arms of Rokothoko, who gratefully accepts, and Afoa goes back inside to Elliott. And Munster need to somehow get possession back, and maybe New Zealand through Messam will gift it to them, but he managed to hold on when it looked like he might lose the ball. Clock all of a sudden against Munster. Once again Stringer with one of those trademark tap tackles, puts his opposite number Mathewson on his back, but New Zealand are back inside the 22, and Brad Thorne goes on a thumping run. Thorne continues.
Release red! Through the gate, that's fine.
penalty, Munster. Apologies for the loss of the countdown clock. Back it comes now.
Combien, Eric?
That'll show you how long is left. 1 and 40, says the referee. Manning knows he has time to put this in touch.
It's a wrong time.
Stadium clock says 45 seconds. The referee confirming that that's the wrong time. What you see is what's there.
Oui, je sais, j'ai le bon temps. Une 40.
Ronan forced to withdraw. This ball must be made for Munster. Knock forward though, and maybe that is the end of that.
Well, I would imagine they'll close the game out now. That could be the difference, that going New Zealand's way.
40 seconds to play.
Ball up the jumper time. Play the clock down, close it out. But what a Munster performance. Brave to a fault. A killer try coming as late as it did.
Mathewson with the feed.
No hands! Release 20!
Munster desperately trying to find a way of getting their hands back on the ball again.
Get back, Captain, please.
Into the last 10 seconds. All Blacks counting down the clock. They've got the signal from the referee. The time is up. Mathewson, though, gets caught in possession and Munster go diving in. They'll do anything for it at this point. They have it through Stringer. Maybe one last throw of the dice. Warwick, though, kicks the ball away. All the decisions have been so right from the man all night. And then there's that. And it's gone. But what a game and what an occasion. And when the disappointment has passed, it'll live long in the memory. Tony.
That was a very proud Munster performance. They are bitterly disappointed out there. I know that. They've given it their all. They could have made it. But what a proud Munster performance, but befitting of the night that's in it, the opposition present, the wonderful crowd, the wonderful atmosphere, everything about it. And they gave it their all.
Quickly, your man of the match, please.
Man of the match, Liam Meeson, number 8. He was the one who turned the tide when things were going against them in the first half. And eventually, they got the try to seal it.